So the reason why I came to Denver, or actually the reason why I'm coming to all these different cities, is I wanted to do something different on this tour. I wanted to do a theme for each city, because there's so many things in astrology, and I don't want everybody to feel like I'm putting out the same message to every tour, if that makes sense. And I want to individualize everyone. And for some reason, when I was thinking about, okay, so what am I going to do for each city? And whenever you start at the first town, it should be like the one thing that I think is on everybody's soul: relationships. And the reason why I picked relationships is because my idea of 2018 as a whole is about relationships, period. There's a lot of other stuff going on with governments and shifting of our reality and changing our self-worth and all these big things, and the structure of our lives and how we live our life, and of course spirituality. But the biggest thing that I see in the astrology is relationships. And if I go back and I look, especially over this like 6 to 7 years, I think you can put in that relationships have been a really weird place. Whether that's your romantic, whether that's your best friend, whether that's the weirdo that fired you, whatever it is, relationships have been the weirdest spiritual test of our... I would say it's the most inconsistent thing that's been going on spiritually. And I say that because if we look at the astrology and we look at what's been going on, there's been a lot of dramatic shifts since 2012. You know, it's like one of those things where you go, okay, we just went through the whole Saturn part over this last 8 years, let's say, okay? So the work and the construction has been done, but nobody has like done the whole ribbon show yet, you know, where they cut the ribbon and go, yay, it's open, and make you feel good. That's what Venus and Jupiter are. Venus and Jupiter is one of the brightest stars in the sky, right? The goddess. So without the goddess there doing a retrograde, the reason why this is important, because if a planet doesn't retrograde in an area, that means it's not doing shit. It's just showing up and being like, oh yeah, I've been here before. It's kind of like people at Disneyland walking through lines like, yeah, I've been on the Matterhorn a million times. Yeah, right? That's when any planet goes through a sign. If it doesn't retrograde and stop and go, wait, we're not going on the ride? Now we're creating some really weird karma here, you know? Like, where are we going now? We're digging deeper, and we're going to reveal, well, what's happened here? So now that this stuff is going on, all that has been dealt with, relationships and sexual and connection, and the best thing that I can say is true feeling that is solid. That's the best way I could describe it. Because when Libra and Scorpio are cleared out and they are open for business and there's no weird planets doing anything in them, relationships and sex and connection is like, I don't know if you could even remember those times in the 90s. I remember my girlfriends in high school were like, or especially like my high school girlfriends, it was like, there was just like it was just like, that's my girlfriend, you know? Like, it didn't kind of feel like things were always emotionally there, or like, I don't know, does that make sense? Okay. I don't know, I can leave the room if you guys want, and I'm just spitting out shit. You don't get your money back, but you heard me talk about some funny things. And that's what I've been waiting for, is the highway to the danger zone, by the way. Now you guys know what my actual ringtone is. That's how I live my life. I guess that's it. There's no epiphanies, or there's no coincidences. There's epiphanies all the time. There's no coincidences, because I feel like relationships have been a highway to the danger zone. Like, okay, is it going to go that way, or which way is it going to go? The afterburner's going to turn on? Am I going to land? What the fuck's going down? The calmness is coming in that zone. Now, why? Because I always ask why as an astrologer. Because if you look at astrology, like, sure, okay, this stuff happens, and then it goes, well, what's next? And if we look at the next 5 years, holy shit, we better have some really solid people by us. Does that make sense? Because if we don't have solid people by us that we don't know are like really there, it's kind of a little scary to go through Capricorn, Pluto, Saturn transits, number one, or transits that we haven't been through since 1282, which brought on the Dark Ages, by the way. Not saying we're going to the Dark Ages, but we'll talk about that. But as we're moving into the energy that brought on the Dark Ages, it'd be really nice to have people that we knew are like, you're not bailing, are you? To clean up these dead bodies. I mean, the only way you kill a zombie is in the head, right? So doesn't mean that they just like disintegrate like vampires. Though at least vampires are nice enough to clean themselves up and peace out. Zombies don't do that, you know what I mean? They they're just there and they're all, okay. So, I think we all need to realize as consciousness, like we've killed a lot of the fears inside of ourselves, but that doesn't mean that when we walk through to get out of that, we haven't really cleaned up and Febrezed what's happened. So, the Swiffers are coming. Good news. Or if you watch Beauty and the Beast, the little fucking, that's Jupiter and Venus, right? They love to have a good time. And I don't know how those little, it's like Chip and all them and Beauty and the Beast. They're so excited to make food for the, the Beast. Like, woo, we're making food. It's exciting. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, come on. Like, you're cleaning up a fucking mess. That doesn't sound fun. I'm a Leo, though, so, that doesn't sound fun to me. But, maybe a Virgo would be the party of a century, right? It'd be like, yeah, we're cleaning the whole house. Unlimited Swiffers. But that's what's going on coming here at the end of this year. So the good news is, as you're going through life right now and you're getting ready for this future, which we're going to talk about, there is a very deep cleanup finally coming. And this is all good news. Because all those zombies and all that shit and all those fears and all those things inside where we go, man, I really am this person. Because so there is no such thing really as true free will, or else you'd be able to stop that. So, before we cut to a break where I do a question and answer, I want to say that the future of astrology is through this really gnarly passage into breaking through a control system on ourselves that are inhibiting us from living our true and honest potential of true self based off of society, subconscious-based, and hypnotic vibration that's trying to entrance you to not live in your greatest good. And a spiritual community that is actually trying to make you feel like shit because you don't do or eat or be a certain way. That all of it is based off if we can finally be leaders and use astrology and use it to empower and show people the truth of ourself and follow that, and hopefully as a conscious community in the coming 5 years during when Pluto comes into Aquarius, and of course the 2020s that start off with the big bang of Jupiter and Saturn in Aquarius, can we actually choose a different way to be and go down a different road than the same road that we keep somehow coming back to every 26 million years? When are we all going to leave? How tired is this story? When it comes to manifesting our purpose, when it comes to manifesting the greatest thing we could ever have in our life, it's going to start with who the fuck is in your life. Because the second there's something that doesn't feel right, this is the hard part of Chiron rubbing over the end and the beginning of the zodiac, is there's a great call, the same one that happened in the late 1960s of which direction people took. There was a whole direction of people who said, we're doing the spiritual hippie thing, fuck yeah, and I'm riding my fucking Volkswagen bus till the end. And then there was a whole side that said, I'm following Nixon-style politics and all that shit, and we're going to go that way. And now we're at the crossroads where both of them meet. And we're at that crossroads where it's like, okay, in order to get to that greater place in our life, our business, our self-worth, oh man, do I have to let go of something that people would think is crazy? Because what is the last degree of Pisces? Crazyville. Hi, I'm in the mental hospital. Please hand me my medications. Oh, thank you. I feel much better now. That's the last degree of Pisces, because what is the last degree of Pisces? It is the last degree of the last sign of the last moment before the sun comes of March 20th in a new spring. Now, I don't know this shit because I live in California, where every day the fucking sun's out, the bikinis are out, the surfers are out, and everybody's like, what day is it, dude? Every Christmas, I always put a picture, and I'm always on the beach, and I'm like, yeah, it's 79 degrees. Hope everybody, Merry Christmas. We don't fucking know what day it is because it's the same fucking weather every fucking day. But as somebody who understands the seasons, which I would say New Yorkers know better than most, you know, with these seasons come this understanding of, you know, when things change. And with Chiron at this last degree here, at the last degree of Pisces, it's literally like you're in winter, you're fucking so over it. You're like, God damn it, give me some sun. I'm stuck in this fucking small apartment I'm paying $6,000 for a fucking month. And fucking they don't even fix the fucking heater. And the guy next door is doing all this shit. And oh my God. I know I've been to New York many times. I can't even count on 5 fingers, so I get it. And I've stayed in apartments, and I get it here, you know? So it's like, you know, the last degree of Pisces is when you're just like in Looneyville. Like, okay, well, I just don't really care anymore. I don't know what else to do. Like, I fucking surrender. Fuck this shit. But it's that moment when you finally let it go. Guess what happens? Oh my God, I'm on the rooftop and there's sun. Oh, I'm feeling better now. Was it the meds that made you feel better, or was it the sun coming up? It's a good question. Why do you think people are like, oh, twin flames, where is my twin flame? I know it's somewhere. But there's an actual real truth to that shit. Because everybody inside is going like, and it's not only love, it's all kinds of relationships. Like, where's that person? Or where are those people? Where are they? Do you think it's a coincidence that the same year here in 2018 that we're going to have a Mars retrograde, which deals with our masculinity, our identity, and our drive, is going to happen in the sign of Aquarius, which deals with connecting and finding the people, exactly where the South Node is, which is the most karmic spot, dealing with past life karma and bringing the right people and bringing those connections together. At the same year that Venus retrogrades right after it, coming up here in October, in the signs that deal with sex, love, relationships, glue. So when it comes to your purpose, when it comes to business, when it comes to even money and all this stuff and self-worth, because actually money is just an understanding of your value, right? If I walk down the street, like I'm wearing fucking Ted Baker right now, you know what I mean? Fucking I feel good. The universe is going to attract me more money. I'm talking on Canon fucking 4K cinema fucking cameras. Not some cheap shit I found on Amazon. You can't buy these on Amazon. You can't. Actually, technically you can, but you don't know what you're getting. When you have self-worth and value in yourself, you manifest more money. Well, guess what? When you're in a relationship and a sexual connection and a deeper connection and it's not fucking 100, oh, do you really think you're going to get it all? When we look at the media right now, and we look at Neptune and Pisces, which rules the media, because what is media? Media is somebody on a camera who's talking to it, and that invisible transmission is popping up on your screen, but they can't smell that you smell like shit today. They can't tell what you ate for dinner. They can't tell you're in your underwear. It's literally just a pop in your face of whatever information. And if you ever watched, I think it's Batman, whatever one with Jim Carrey where he's the Riddler and he puts on his little hat and he controls everybody with his crazy stuff. I don't know if you guys remember that movie. But there's subliminal messaging with Neptune and Pisces. The last time Neptune and Pisces the subliminal messaging was, go west and it'll be great. And then most people ended up, kind of losing it all or dying to get there. And really, it was the expansion of America, and it was also the time in which we had the Spanish-American War at the same time, which was to take more land and kind of push as much people to expand this country. And we ended up buying a bunch of land, and we ended up taking over a bunch of land with this whole Neptune and Pisces kind of, back then the media was, of course, your newspaper or pamphlets that were handed out. And it's interesting that right now, this is the first time in our human history we've got television. And I think we all subconsciously, if you look at TV from the 60s or the 50s, there really was a genuine heart behind it, Like when you watch a show on TV back then, it was just about the show and to feel good. Or if you listened to the radio back then, it was, to feel good or feel like there was some sort of positivity behind it. But when you watch it now, there is a subliminal spell that is being positioned to people to position them on what side they're going to be as the decision for the new way the government works. They're already talking about changing amendments or getting rid of amendments. What do you think will happen the second that an amendment gets taken off a constitution that's been around for over 248, or I guess, 200 some odd years? What do you think that's going to do for the people who believe in that amendment? And what do you think that's going to do for the people who don't believe in it? That's going to be an automatic civil clash. I mean, and subliminally, if you listen to one side of the aisle, and I'm not political here because I really am not. I'm actually libertarian, which none of us exist anymore on the planet. But on the left, they call it a democracy. On the right, they call it a republic. Is this the decision that's coming up in our nation of whether we want to be more democratic or continue our roots of a republic? These are some of the questions that are breaking, and also because of the money that we've been printing forever. Same thing happened by the end of 1781 by the Revolutionary War. Did you know that all the money that they had printed was worth nothing, and they just kind of pushed it aside and just made a new money? All the money that we're spending right now, do you really think it's going to get paid off? And no. I just said that in Nashville. Yeah, I did. I mean, I think he's maybe great music. I don't know. I'm from California. I don't listen to a lot of country. But just when I read his vibe, he's just so fucking fake. I'm like, oh my God, And poor Gwen Stefani, she had like the real dude fucking from Bush. Even though he did some fucking really bad shit, so I get why they had to break up. But it's almost like she tried to retreat to the most false sense of security in her whole life with a guy who projects that I've got everything perfect in my personality and self. They call that a psychopath. Yeah.
So in other words, you're not going downtown tonight?
No, actually, when we clean up this stuff, I kind of do want to go downtown, but I just want to hang out or something, But going back to this whole spiritual community notion, because I think this is a lot of the Neptunian vibe that we got going on right now, is there's a lot of lines that are being kind of blurred. And when we start to create a home, the problem with creating homes is everybody starts to make, with all these Capricorn energies, rules. No walking in your house with shoes. No going into the backyard and sitting on the grass. No using the living room couch when it's got no protection over it. Bring the doilies out. You've got a fucking Sprite. Bring the doily out and put it on the thing. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? But all these things are happening in the spiritual community right now. Oh my gosh. You've got all these problems. Look at you, it's all your reflection of yourself. Like, I get that. It's true, but it's like everybody now is your fucking counselor spiritually. Like, you're a problem, and da-da-da-da-da, and you need to do this, and you need to call this person, and you need to sage the house, and da-da-da. Okay, fuck, let me just be a human being for a second and process all that on my own to figure that one out. Because that's the thing, is spirituality is our own individual uniqueness and beauty. And that's what Aquarius is about. individual uniqueness in a web of 1,000,000 people that are similar, right? Because Aquarius is people, the society, and Leo is the king, right, at the top. So the king every day says something, and it's like, okay, the blacksmiths like me, but oh man, the farmers don't like me today. I just put a tariff on fucking cow manure, but I didn't put one on fucking steel. Kind of interesting is going on right now. So if you think about the traditions that we hold as people, this is why knitting is dying. And I know there might be some knitters in here, but you guys are a very long lost, holding on. And I'm totally on your team. But there's not a lot of you left. This is why creating food at your own house has kind of died. And everybody goes out to dinner now and somebody else makes the dinner. We can go on for hours and look at how all the traditions in the world over the last 248 years are dying. And what's the scariest part to me is when people try to attach to tradition and hold on to it when you know that cycles mean we can move forward. And what's hard about this is now they're happening in Capricorn. And Capricorn is the structure of everything. If you were to look at the human body, Saturn in Capricorn rules your bones. It rules your whole skeleton, because what holds your whole body together is that. That's why Capricorns are tough. That's why Capricorn rules the 10th house, which is career and business. Because what do you have to do? If you're losing money, I'm sorry, you're fired, and I'm not giving you any more money, and I'm not going to go rub your back on the way out the door, because that's illegal now. You know what I mean? Like, sexual harassment, he touched me. It's like the opposite of Capricorn is Cancer, where it's like, oh, let me take care of you. Let me give you love. Let me make sure you feel safe. But as these traditions end, there is no safety in it. There is no it's okay, I know you love your knitting, but there's no more people knitting anymore. And the store just closed down, so I don't know where you're gonna get your knitting. There's an Amazon site I can help you with. I don't know, but you'll make it through. Cancer is that, everybody's supporting me, whether it's my family, whether it's my best friends, whether it's anybody who gets me emotionally and will help me take care of that. It also is spiritually your own ability to take care of yourself. And what's difficult about this next transit coming in is comfort, security, home, family. These aspects are the place in which we are trying to achieve so hard. Yet there is so much heavy energy in Capricorn right now that it feels like you can't fully have that there. There's always something coming up. There's always a job to do. There's always some new thing that I've got to reach for in my life. And if you look at the world and you look at Capricorn, it's work. I always look at Capricorn, Saturn as the slave driver. Keep going, And it's hard because Cancer's the opposite, where we want to go on vacation and we want to have Mai Tais and we want to sit on the beach and we want to have a back rub and you want your wife or your husband to say, I love you. But, Capricorn time is like, I got to get somewhere because I have a fate and a destiny that I know I got to reach. And what does Saturn rule and what does Capricorn rule if it's on the negative side is regret. The biggest part of what's going on in life right now is people dealing with regret for not choosing a path that they know they really should be on. And that's a very difficult one because when it comes to picking this path, there is no cuddles bears. There are no people that will understand it because when you fire somebody, it's like, you still gotta go eat lunch afterwards.